Here in Galveston, Texas, for this, the first APBA Offshore Race of the Year.
Prime Network presents the Fountain Powerboat Offshore National Series. First stop of the Fountain Powerboat National Series is Galveston, Texas, where the power and the action of offshore racing takes over this Texas coastline.
These waters off of Galveston Island will surely hold surprises for today's APBA offshore racers. Hello, everybody. I'm Art Ekman, and welcome to Springfest 96 in Galveston, Texas. 90 days and 40 events of seafaring fun, highlighted by the roaring sounds and the exotic looks of offshore powerboat racing. Working with us on the series this year, former boat builder and racer Rich Lures. Rich, there's always that anticipation of the opening race of the season.
And this year's no different. These guys have been working for months back in their shops, getting the boats ready, the engines ready. They're ready to go. They're eager. Today's going to be some barn burner, Art.
No offense to Rich, but the most charming member of our television crew is Connie Willis, and she's got our race day report.
Thanks, Art. Race conditions for today looking pretty good, unlike last year here at Galveston, where the Coast Guard had to cancel the race due to high winds. Don't have to worry about that today, though. If the conditions stay the same that they are right now, calm seas, temperatures around 90 degrees, sunny skies, great race for the spectators because we're expecting a very fast race. But the temperatures could heat up those engines, so we got to watch that. The main goal is to be fast enough to win, but slow enough to finish. I'm going to go test the waters myself. Let's go to Rich.
Watch out, Connie. That water could be cold. Today we'll be watching some of the best offshore racers in the world with the APBA's Open, Modified, and Pro Outboard classes. We'll also see highlights of the A, B, C, and Stock class races run earlier.
Rich, this is a great course. It runs fast. It's very accessible for the spectators on the shoreline. Connie has the layout.
From the start-finish line, the boats are going to head southwest toward turn 1, and they're going to travel a little over 3 miles. It's going to be a sharp left turn as they round turn 1 and head for turn 1A. That's just a few hundred yards away. As they make another left turn and start the backside of the course, the water's expected to be rougher as they travel a little over 3 miles to turn 2. Turn 2 is a dog leg to the left, where the boats are going to travel northeast approximately 2.5 miles to turn 3. Turn 3 and 3A are like turn 1 and 1A. That is 2 quick left turns. The boats then travel to the southwest to the start-finish line to complete this 10-mile course. Offshore BC classes, they're going to run 5 laps. Offshore D, Pro Outboard, and Modified, they're going to run 6 laps. And the open class boats will run 8 laps. This is going to be one fast race.
Earlier today, Rich, the smaller boats had their hands full out there on the Gulf of Mexico. The classes A, B, C, and Stock, as we see the lineup right here. And one of the most exciting boats to see, Baby.
Yeah, the story here are 2 European-designed boats, the Italian Baby and the Swedish Bat boat, the Haynes A50. 2 very unique designs causing a lot of controversy.
Leading off the B division, Joanna and Power Play.
Very, very fast boats, a small class but a fast class.
In the C class, Harrah's Megabucks and Zero Gravity will battle it out.
Now, the Harrah's team, a family team.
Stock division lineup goes like this: the Stocker, Cutting Edge, and Spirit of Houston. All these divisions race together as we take a look at the highlights right now. And the Bat boat is right in the middle as Baby starts to take over in the start of their race. But the Bat boat coming on strong.
Now, when the flag dropped, the Bat boat used a tremendous burst of speed to take a dominant lead right off the bat. Smoothly running along in the background, though, is that Baby Bootsy.
And we go inside. Bob Bull will probably hear from him there in Team Thoroughbred.
Bring the trim up just a hair. Look at that Bat boat go.
Oh, Rich, he's impressed.
He certainly is. He's getting his first taste of those 2 dynamic designs and a great view of our helicopter at the same time.
Go. Stay in it. It went way up. The button's stuck.
And that's a problem. That's a problem, Art. That means that their power trim system is failing.
A good lead for A50. Haynes Express, a 28-footer with a 700 horsepower engine.
700 horsepower engine and a multi-directional drive system. There are 2 propellers on that single drive turning in opposite directions. This is also a very fast boat. The wings on the side give it aerodynamic lift as well as hydrodynamic lift.
Ed Salaggi along with Bill McComb in there. And we go to Baby, and of course, Fabio Buzzi's unique design with a 700 horsepower engine as well. Reggie Fountain and Mark Nemchoff.
The boat that turned the class on its ear. 36 feet long, Italian design, rubber bumper around the outside, a tremendous design for the roughest conditions, and also very, very fast in the calm.
Mark Nemchoff went over to Italy, took on the project, fell under Buzzi's spell, that's for sure, and came back raving about it. Subluxator, 26-foot Corsa with a 750 horsepower engine. That's a lot of horsepower with those three guys bouncing around, Rich.
A lot of horsepower, only 26 feet in length, and the name is very, very apt. There's a chiropractor in there. Subluxator means a device which will change the alignment of your spine. And they've got people in there that can straighten that problem right back out. As you can see, there's some spine alignment going on right as we speak.
Well, they're picking up on Team Thoroughbred right now and getting a lot of airtime. That's got to be really touchy with the throttle man.
Team Thoroughbred seems to continue to have problems with that trim system we talked about earlier. But Subluxator is lining him up for the next turn. He's taking the inside line, and as I think we'll see, that's going to be a real advantage in the next turn.
The owner throttle man, Greg Lohman out of Naples, Florida, with Jim Barr doing the driving.
It's something to watch this team in the pits before each race and after each race. Greg Lohman, the chiropractor, actually adjusts each member of the team, including some of their support people. They lay out a table and he goes to work right there in the parking lot or wherever.
Subluxator edging ahead right now of Team Thoroughbred. I wonder if he'll take on the TV crew next week.
That's a good idea, Art.
Boy, these guys really take a pounding in these speeds, especially in the smaller craft.
And these wonderful in-boat cameras give you some idea of the pounding they do take.
And as far as trim, they look pretty stable right there.
Here's Subluxator, and they are lined up perfectly for that turn. This will maximize their advantage rounding that turn pin.
The coordination between driver and throttle man in a turn, Rich, has got to be a little bit different as we take a look now at Ale House.
Bob Christie and Jim Arba showing us the coordination necessary to pilot one of these boats around the course in this choppy water. Each time that boat goes airborne, that throttleman's got to pull those throttles back now.
Right now, as they go into a nice hop right there. Oh, my goodness. Came clear out of the water. You saw the propeller. That's the reason for coming off the gas.
And Joanna is on the gas hard. They're really setting a torrid pace here in the first lap. They're way out in front, and they're trying to advance their position.
Joanna putting on quite a show as it goes by the pier, one of the more popular spectator areas here in the Galveston race. They're out in front of Power Play right here, B61, a 33-foot Power Play with two 600 horsepower engines. Dan Weinstein builds them good, doesn't he? Back in 1981, he won the World Championship in the sport class, building his own boats. Now to Harrah's Megabucks.
The Harris Megabucks team, the all-conquering family, the Seeligs out of Absecon, New Jersey. This team is national champion, world champion, and they very, very rarely lose a race.
Lots of experience in that boat, as there is in Zero Gravity, a 31-foot Express Cat with two 510 horsepower intense marine engines. The owner-driver Roger Rex, 4 years in the game, a former Division A champion. And Scott Mander out of Miami, 6 years. Let's listen in and look at the hands.
Boy, it's acting weird, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not used to the canopy, that's all.
I know, it's hard to read.
See, he's just staying with us.
And I don't like where we're at for the turn, Scott.
Just have to slow down and turn.
They're getting used to that safety canopy, so important in the event of an accident. They're doing very well, Zero Gravity.
We will return, taking a look at the stock class action next from Galveston, Texas.
Bring the world's most demanding motorsport right into your home. Offshore racing is the most spectacular powerboating event in the world. Offshore race boats exhibit state-of-the-art marine design and offer the raw power and split-second finesse unparalleled by any other motorsport. Bring these extraordinary thrills right into your home to be enjoyed over and over again by the entire family. Call 1-800-890-0096 to order the home video version of this American Powerboat Association offshore race for only $19.99. $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Or buy the entire 1996 APBA Offshore Racing Series, a collection of 7 videos, and get the final tape absolutely free. That's right, absolutely free. Every tape will be shipped following each race and billed separately. And remember, the 7th tape is absolutely free. All you pay is shipping and handling. Act immediately. Mail your check or money order to the address on your screen or call 1-800-890-0096 right now and have your credit card ready. Operators are standing by.
Powerboat Magazine, the world's leading performance boating magazine, is the choice for serious performance boaters. Each issue of Powerboat will bring you the latest in performance reviews, tips, and how-tos. If you're into boat racing, Powerboat covers them all. Covers them all. From unlimiteds to offshore. Drag the circle. No one covers races like we do. With award-winning stories and photographs, we'll make you feel like you're there. Powerboat Magazine.
We are back at Galveston Island, Texas. Earlier today, Art took a look at the new innovations and technology of these offshore race boats.
Offshore powerboat racing has always had controversy, and sometimes it's centered around new technology and the expense that these new developments have on the grassroots racer. Here we have a very showroom stock class boat. Almost anyone can go into a dealership and come out with this entry form craft. It's less expensive, and it's very good for the sport. This is Italian designer Fabio Buzzi's latest. It is phenomenal. It's 5 foot longer, very narrow, and it's got a rigid bottom, and these pontoons on the side, they're inflatable, and what it does is it actually gives the boat better lift and less drag. Plus, talk about safe, the darn thing's almost unsinkable. But now we get down to the real essence. We got the props here. $10,000 a prop. You want to buy this boat? I'd guess $250,000.
It's real finicky, real sensitive to everything that comes along. You really have to let the boat go, run it loose, run it fast. Fabio Buzzi builds loose boats, and he likes to run them that way, and he taught me how to do that.
Recently invading the A-class, the bat boat, they call it. You know, with a catamaran, it gets its lift from the wind going through the tunnel between the hulls, where this craft gets its lift from these external wings. Is it fair to have this new modern technology compete against the rest of the field? And yet we don't want to stifle this kind of progress. That would be against the grain of racing. I think we're going to have to leave this one up to good old American ingenuity.
Back to the race, our Mercury Marine leaderboard is caught up to the stock class, where Cutting Edge leads Spirit of Houston and Team Stalker in a tight, well-contested battle.
Owner Throttleman Alan Butler and Gary Ballou on Cutting Edge. Lots of hard luck last year, but they're pouring it on here at the Galveston course.
Well, it's a brand new boat this year. They haven't had time to put the graphics on the side yet, but boy, they're running strong.
We see Alan Butler inside along with Gary Ballou, a 30-footer holding on to two 200-horsepower engines.
Okay, to the left. Nothing to the left but a helicopter, bro. That means somebody is alongside of the summer. We got a B-boat way over on the right, but that's okay. Okay, I see both buoys. 10-4.
All right, consider the fact watching this that cats run smoother than V-bottoms, and these guys are sitting down, not standing up to take this kind of impact.
Cutting Edge out in front of this machine, S13 Spirit of Houston, a 28-foot skater.
Local product Bill Westbury stepping down from a 46-footer 2 years ago, getting his feet wet in a 28-footer today on this choppy course.
Trying to communicate there with driver Lloyd Thornton, that's for sure. As Team Stalker, we take a look at this boat. It's a 30-foot motion with two 200-horsepower Mercury outboards. What's the difference with an outboard on this Gulf?
Outboards are much more tricky to throttle than stern drives. They're a lot more delicate, a lot lighter hand, a lot lighter touch required.
Back to the B division, Jawada with a 20-plus second lead right now over Power Play.
Juana is flying. These guys have been hammered down from the start of this race, and the boat is performing flawlessly.
Bruce Sperling. He's in his 5th year of offshore racing. He won a Central Division title 2 years in a row, 92, 93, also a world championship.
Chasing him, another world champion, Dan Weinstein, in a very fast 33-foot power play. He's got the speed he needs to catch Joanna.
Weinstein coordinating with Gary Coberly, the driver. Now, what is it like to try to catch up? They're 20 seconds in front. You've got to concentrate, though, on that sea.
Remember, Art, that there are no lines on an offshore race course. They've got to conserve distance as much as anything else, set up the lines, and minimize the span between checkpoints.
Harrah's Megabucks as we go to the C division right now. Those three are getting a ride. Now we go to zero gravity.
Back on board zero gravity, you can see they're working very, very hard in there to keep that boat on course.
Our leaderboard for the smaller boats, and open and modified race action coming up. Don't go away.
Sunjet, shining brighter every day, presents this season's travel forecast. Clear skies and low fares on Sunjet. Call 1-800-4SUNJET and join the thousands who are saving hundreds of dollars on airfares. On Sunjet, you can fly New York via Newark to Dallas-Fort Worth starting at just $99 each way, and fly New York to Los Angeles starting at just $129. Seats are limited, so call 1-800-4SUNJET to reserve yours. Sunjet, we're shining brighter every day.
Thank you. What makes you happy? What brings you joy? What lifts your spirit? What tickles your fancy? What complements your mood? What catches your eye?
Thinking of you. Infinity.
New York Sports Scene, the only magazine devoted to your favorite New York area teams. Player profiles, in-depth team analysis, up-close features, and more every month. If it happens in New York Sports Scene will be there. Pick up your copy at newsstands everywhere.
Galveston Island, the Texas Gold Coast most charming seaside escape. Each year, more than 6 million visitors trek to the island mecca to sightsee, sun, shop, sail, surf, and savor the local cuisine. There are plenty of sights to see and endless fun in the sun. Whether riding the tour buses or the island trolley, horse-drawn carriages, or strolling on foot, you can step back into the history and experience yesteryear through the streets of historic Galveston.
Thank you, Connie. Art Ekman and Rich Lures taking a look back at the action now of our smaller boats, and baby, oh, Reggie Fountain's inside that one. He's doing quite a job. He was impressed with practice day, and he's obviously impressing everyone else right now.
What a story this boat is, Art. It's the latest technology, a European design, but it's got an American boat builder throttling the boat. He's got 30 years of racing experience. He's trying to get the feel of this boat because I think he's got a plan to build something like it himself.
Boy, what that would do to be able to build a cheaper boat than going over to Italy to bring it over. What that would do to this division.
In this division, here's Team Thoroughbred, Bob Bull, running along, trying to overcome that trim problem we saw earlier. Bob Bull has been one of the most vocal critics of the new designs prior to this race. And here he is getting his first taste of just how well they perform. And unfortunately, his boat is not up to par.
Bloodsetter dove back, so I took it.
Watch it now, this is the bad side.
Go. Tuck it down, and just nail it.
Tucking it down, getting ready for the corner.
Yeah, they've got to coordinate the driver and the throttle man in order to get these boats lined up just right for these turns. Subluxator roaring along the beach. These guys are still flying. They've been the most airborne and acrobatic boat out there all day long.
The oohs and ahs certainly coming from the pier as they went by. And Alehouse, the 26-foot Scarab with a 625 horsepower engine, Bob Christie and Jim Arbus. These guys are energized, Rich. The bat boat, something's wrong with it.
The bat boat is out of the race. It took one wild gyration on the backstretch, landed on its side, there was a loud crack, and it stopped.
Here's the results as the A-Class is now finished. Baby winning it with Team Thoroughbred in second.
Subluxator in third, ready for an adjustment back in the pits.
Cutting Edge is still on the water. Splitting it through, Alan Butler on the throttles.
Still leading and still running beautifully. This team with this brand new boat, they have not missed a stitch all day. Very, very nice boat. The way it's carrying through these seas, you couldn't ask for a better ride.
Boy, for a crew that had such hard luck last year, let's listen in.
I'm heading right for that buoy. You're good. Word from them to do whatever you want. Okay. I'm coming over then.
They just coordinate so well in there. They've really got their act down pat.
Cutting Edge leading the stock division right now, and you can see why. They look so steady on the water. Spirit of Houston is right behind Cutting Edge.
He's looking steady, but he's got some mechanical problems. He's slowing down, and that'll make you very steady. Unfortunately, not very competitive today.
Really, Spirit of Houston and Team Stocker pretty close together. This is a good race now for second and third in that division.
Team Stalker, similar design to the leading boat, Cutting Edge, giving him a pretty good battle today in these seas. But as you can see, not handling quite as nicely over these conditions.
Craig Morris out of Naples, Florida. And let's take a look now as Cutting Edge gets the checkered flag. Spirit of Houston and Team Stocker in that order. Spirit of Houston hanging on.
And the B-class Joanna just hammered a 64.5-mile-an-hour pace to hold off power play.
And Richie said he hates losing. Harris Megabucks does it again with the checkers.
Earlier, Art had a chance to talk with master race boat rigger Bobby Moore, who rigged open boat Mixed Emotions and modified Carlos and Charlie's.
Well, I'd like to start off with the right engine package, the equipment of the boat itself, powertrain, and lately we've been running a lot of Mercury engines. They've been holding up real good the last several years. And once we've got that, we start working out how to balance the boat out with the engine package, install the different configurations of weight, where we mount the batteries in different systems. And the fuel system there that gets complicated with the fuel injection. We've got return systems, multi-pumps, high-pressure fuel pumps. That itself gets extensive. And I think there we try to sit down and analyze how we can build a system that won't fail. If one system goes out, we've got a backup system, so you're not dead in the water.
The Open, Modified, and Pro Outboards are about to start. Art, take it away.
Time now for the big guys, the big boats, Sudden Impact leading off our Open division, along with Mixed Emotions, the veteran Art Lilly on the throttle.
First time in a cat for that team.
How Sweet It Is and the veteran Carlton Myers.
That's How Sweet It Is, 40-foot skater, world-class boat. Along with Zero Defect, Laith Ferrone, John Tomlinson getting together for the first time this year.
And the very popular Reggie Fountain in Ohio Steel.
The modified class, wickedly quick. Harry's Hofbrau, Carlos and Charlie's.
Carlos and Charlie's, a 42-foot fountain just like Harry's Hofbrau, could be a good matchup. Endangered Species and Plastic Chips also in there.
A tightly matched Pro Outboard class featuring Harmsco, Hurricane, and Restore should have some very tight action today.
And the featured entry in the D class, Pepsi, Taco Bell. The Open and Modifieds start when we come back.
Powerboat Magazine. The world's leading performance boating magazine is the choice for serious performance boaters. Each issue of Powerboat will bring you the latest in performance reviews, tips, and how-tos. If you're into boat racing, Powerboat covers them all. Covers them all. From unlimiteds to offshore. Drag the circle. No one covers races like we do. With award-winning stories and photographs, we'll make you feel like you're there. Powerboat Magazine.
Earn their wings every day.
Hooters, it's not just a restaurant, it's an adventure.
We are back. back in Galveston, Texas for offshore powerboat racing APBA style. Just about set for the start of the open and modifieds along with the D and Pro outboards. In the starting position, you see the starting boat right there. They try to get them lined up and up to speed.
The idea is to get those boats straight across before they change the flag, and there they go. There is your start. And here comes the early horsepower. The early horsepower is 0 defect. Tremendous burst of speed right to the lead right now. Carlos and Charlie's leading modified class.
Inside, 0 defect. Laith Ferrone, the driver. On the throttles, John Tomlinson out of Miami, Florida.
New engines this year. Sterling engines from Mike Diana Bell of Michigan. Engines so good that the Arabian team, the Victory team from Dubai, had an exclusive contract up until this year.
Mixed emotion. A 40-foot skater, 2 900-horsepower Mercury drives.
A very fast boat, but their first ride for both drivers in a Cat. They're getting used to this thing as the race progresses.
Jack Carmody out of Texas, and at the throttles, Art Lilly.
Art Lilly, the grand old man of V-bottom throttle men.
Whoa! He's tail walking a little bit. Bad. What's causing that? Damn, we just hit a board. I hope we didn't hit the prop. I didn't feel it. I didn't either. We ran right over it, too. Yeah. Looked like it was floating pretty high. Probably knocked it out of the way. We got a piece of 2x4, wasn't it? Yeah.
Looks so easy from this angle, sounds so busy from inside the cockpit.
Jack Carmody, not only the driver but also the owner, he experienced what can happen to offshore Key West racing when 94 World Finals. B-class boat, driven to the bottom.
Driven to the bottom, wound up with his deck on top of the cockpit. Very scary moment for this team.
A local Houston, Texas team, sudden impact. The 40-foot skater, Brian Whitecotton and Chris Morris.
Yet another team stepping from V-bottom to catamaran. Big learning curve involved, a totally different sensation in there.
Brian started racing in the Corpus Christi area some 8 years ago. He was a dirt track auto racer, and then he started testing boats in Miami, got infected with offshore racing. Ohio Steel with Reggie Fountain, along with Jack Haynes at the throttles.
And speaking of testing boats, Art, this boat has been a work in progress for 18 months. The Ohio Steel V-bottom, owned by John Rebin out of Youngstown, Ohio, has been a world speed record holder, but has had a problem on the race course. Reggie Fountain has worked on the bottom of this boat continuously for the last 18 months.
A look at the modified boat, Carlos and Charlie's, along with the open boat, Mixed Emotion. Same owner.
Yeah, the story here is who's going to win. The Carlos and Charlie's is the fastest V-bottom in the world. It set a record in February down in North Carolina of over 130 miles an hour. The Mixed Emotion's a Cat, which is a faster design. The owner's in the Cat. My money's on the Cat.
Now that Cat capable of 150 miles an hour under the right conditions. But look at Carlos and Charlie's. Holding his own. You think they're kind of playing with each other there, Rich?
The equalizer here, Art, is the fact that the guys in the Cat, it's their first race in a catamaran, whereas the people in the Carlos and Charlie's V-bottom, they're old hands at it. Let's watch them as they throttle along here.
Get it up. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Get out. Get over. Get up fast. Good job. You all right? Yeah.
Boy, driver Rod Riddell really getting snapped there.
He took a tremendous jolt in that particular sequence there, Art.
Kurt Hyber doing the throttles you saw inside the cabin of Carlos and Charlie's. Looking very trim on the outside.
The key here is streamlining. For a boat to do 130 miles an hour, it has to be very sleek.
Harry's Hofbrau now, the 42-foot Fountain with 2 960-horsepower engines. The Kramers, Larry Kramer, the driver owner, and Kevin Kramer at the throttles, out of the Redwood City and Atherton, California areas.
Another legendary boat, previously owned by the late Bob Nordskog, the publisher of Powerboat Magazine, where it won many races in the open class in California.
Classic design there, wasn't it? Pepsi Taco Bell. Owner-driver Joe Padovano. Instead of getting a factory model, he had this boat built to specs. The engines are mounted on tracks. They move back and forward. They change that weight distribution.
Yeah, that's also important in rough water, Art. It's very important to keep that bow level. It's when the bow gets up in the air that the trouble begins.
The Southeast Division points leader could become the national points leader after this race. A look at the two-man team next.
Well, if my check is $100, I get back 20. If my check is $300, I get back 60. If it's $600, I get back $120.
Introducing a special invitation from Dining a la Carte. A 2-month trial membership for free.
Dining a la carte is earning extra money.
Just for eating out.
Dining a la carte works with your credit cards. There are no embarrassing coupons and no restaurant blackout periods.
I love the amount of money that I've saved with Dining a la carte. I've saved well over $1,000.
Just dine at participating restaurants. In about 30 days, you'll receive a rebate check that equals 20% of your total restaurant charges, including tax and tips.
Dining a la carte is a good thing for people who like to go out for dinners and like to save money.
And here's your special invitation. Call right now and get a 2-month trial membership for free.
Hey, Fran, you want to warm me up?
Sure, Izzy. I used to catch. All right, fire it in here. Come on, Morty. Come on, let's see some more. That's it.
Offshore racing, Galveston, Texas. And as you watch these boats race here today, we'll be seeing a lot of two-man teams. Wakani has an up-close look at what they're doing.
As you're watching the boats race today, you're going to see two-person crews. Well, one of them is driving, but what's the other one doing? First off, let's see what the driver's doing. Well, I'm going to play driver here. Obviously, I'm going to steer the boat. But what is it that I'm thinking? What I'm asking myself is, who is around me? Where are the other boats? Also, where am I going to make my move? Which boats am I going to go across and which one am I going to pass? Where is my line to get through them? And also, what position am I in? First, second, third? Also, as a driver, you have your GPS, you have your electronic compass, and believe it or not, with all the state-of-the-art technology that they have in these boats today, tape is pulled off to show that they've run 1 lap, run 2 laps, and so on. Now, basically what the driver does is keep the boat right on course. And if need be, I can reach over and grab the throttle. Okay, now I'm the throttle person. Here's the throttle, all the way down, the way I want to go. All the way back to stop it and pull the props out. What is it that I'm thinking? What I'm thinking is to get the boat across the finish line as fast as I can and also keep the boat alive. Here are all my gauges to make sure that the engine stays healthy. With all these gauges, what I'm really keying on are my RPMs to see how fast my engines are spinning and my oil pressure to see how well their hearts are beating. So my job as a throttle person is to have control of the speed of the boat and some attitude.
Speaking of attitude, P7 Patriot, the 35-foot motion with 3 300-horsepower Mercury outboards.
Bob Hamlin in there doing a terrific job, currently in the lead in the pro outboard class.
Roger Taylor, the driver. Roger, 3 years on the offshore scene. Second in the world, second in everything last year, I think.
Second in the national championship to Harmsco Hurricane, and second in the world championship to the Restore Racing Team. Both boats in the hunt today, and right now both boats behind the Patriot.
The Patriot looking very, very trim. Patriot pulling up on Pepsi Taco Bell. About the same size boat, if not exactly the same size, Rich, but different drives.
Both 35-foot motions. One's a stern drive, one's an outboard powered boat.
In second place now, Restore, the 35-foot motion with 3 300-horsepower Mercury outboards. Charlie Haynes, 3-time world champion. He started back in 1980 in the A-boat class. Not only an outstanding racer, Rich, but this guy knows how to market his efforts.
Yeah, Charlie Haynes doing a terrific job attracting sponsors. A very attractive racer.
And we go to Hurricane.
Harmsco Hurricane out of West Palm Beach, the reigning national champion in the pro outboard class. A little bit shorter than the other boats, but certainly doing quite well today.
Always a popular sponsor. They've been in offshore powerboat racing for quite a while. Venus Swimwear, this time on the side of a 35-foot motion with 3 300-horsepower Mercury outboards. More high-powered racing action in a moment.
Hooters, our girls earn their wings every day.
Hooters, it's not just a restaurant, it's an adventure.
Just what does it take to get in shape and stay that way? If you think you need to go to a gym to lose weight, get in shape, and have a body like this, think again. This is Bowflex, a real workout at home that's so good, we guarantee results in 6 weeks or your money back. It's not magic, it's Bowflex. Call us and ask for a free video and brochure on the machine that works like an entire gym, but fits anywhere in your home.
Check out what Stan and Eddie are cooking up.
Hey, Stan, we're both fathers. Where are you going to be on Father's Day?
Are you kidding me? I'm going to be home watching the premiere of Sports Channel's Cool Classic. It's going to be Game 4, Flyers, Islanders, 1975 playoffs.
I'm going to watch it with you.
Yeah, well, you're in it. You're hotter than these hamburgers I'm cooking here. You should watch it, too.
Join Stan and Eddie tonight at 7:30 for the premiere of Cool Classics, only on Sports Channel.
We're back in Galveston, Texas. As you watch these boats, you see the close-up of the stern drives and the props driving these boats. Earlier, Rich took a closer look at these drives.
The assortment of propulsion systems in offshore racing has grown continuously over the years. Many people don't know that the inboard-outboard stern drive was developed in the offshore racing wars. The challenge today is the increased horsepower that's developed year after year. Motor manufacturers are getting better and better at pulling the ponies out of those engines. The challenge to the engineers is transferring the power from the engine to the propeller as efficiently as possible. The standard drive found on the stock classes is the Mercruiser Bravo drive, just like you'll find in pleasure boat marinas all over the United States. This drive carries the power from the engine down to the prop shaft through 2 complete changes of direction. This drive handles up to 500 horsepower and speeds up to about 90 or 95 miles per hour. After that, an insidious little hydrodynamic reaction occurs called blowout, in which the prop loses total traction on the water. This is the number 5 drive. Born on the race course, this unit handles up to 800 horsepower and has a top speed capability of well over 150 miles per hour. It is a compact, dependable unit that is limited only by the power it can handle. While there are still only 2 changes in direction, the number 5 incorporates more shafts and gear interfaces than the Bravo drive. With more horsepower comes increased size and sophistication. The ultimate stern drive in the Mercruiser line is the number 6 drive. This baby can not only handle speeds in excess of 160 miles per hour, but over 1,500 horsepower as well. There are other options available to the racer in offshore racing. The Italian Trimax drive and the Arneson surface drives both are viable options, but they don't contain the trimability and steering ability of the Mercruiser. In offshore racing today, the state-of-the-art is the number 6 drive. This is the current driving force.
There is no question stern drives play a large part in the performance of these boats. Check out the super tanker heading into the Galveston Harbor. She's probably having no problems with her stern drive. Art is with Brian Whitecotton, who talks about the performance of his boat.
Well, the history of this boat, this is a very good boat. It holds a world record for the fastest race ever run and also the fastest lap ever run. That record was held by Don Johnson, and this boat took it away from him. We're kind of happy about that. We're going to try to go out and set some more records with this boat.
Well, the Mercury Marine leaderboard shows that if any records are going to be set today, they'll be set by Zero Defect, which is now holding a half-lap lead over Mixed Emotions.
Zero Defect is ripping at those 2 1,000 horsepower engines, but a lot goes into keeping that boat trim. How do they hold it from hydroplaning on these waves?
There are various systems in there, Art. They've got ballast tanks that they can fill with water. They've got trim tabs on the back of the boat. They've also got trimability on the drives themselves. They can re-aim the props and the power to hold the bow up or down depending upon the sea conditions. The combination, as you can see, is working quite well.
Wade Ferrone, the driver, you can see him, his head bobbing up and down, taking those pressures. He reaches up and takes the tape tab off. Connie explained that a little earlier.
Art, what that means is that he's completed yet another lap going around this race course at a very, very high rate of speed. And just look at the buffeting going on in that cockpit. As big as that boat is, 46 feet long and 10,000 pounds at a speed of 110 to 120 miles an hour, the buffeting's enormous.
Zero Defect, our leader in the open division, with a pretty good sizable lead, but in case something should go wrong, Mixed Emotion, the 40-foot skater, is right there to take advantage. Now, it looks like an attractive paint job to me, but plans after this race are to redesign that paint job to match their other boat, of course sponsored by the same Carlos and Charlie's.
Jack Carmody, the driver, is also the owner of the Carlos and Charlie's restaurants. And he's in there with Art Lilly. They're getting a lot more comfortable in there as each lap progresses.
That's all we need to do on this leg. How fast to run? 84. My speedo isn't working like yours. I got it. I'm using GPS. We're running 85. I have to agree with that. That's what I said when we were running down the beach. Wasn't running fast. Where's Carlos and Charlie's? On our ass. Where do you think he is?
A fun rivalry amongst teammates.
I'm not sure if I was in the Carlos and Charlie's boat whether I'd want to pass the boss in the catamaran.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. This boat much safer than the boat that they took down in Key West in '94. That crash brought the entire crew together and was really quite a molding factor. Sudden Impact now, the 40-foot skater, also in the open division, 2 950 horsepower engines. Brian Whitecotton, Curtis Morris. You know, earlier Brian said about the world record for the fastest race and the fastest complete lap. I saw Don Johnson do that one on the Hudson River in New York. I thought that was fantastic.
Well, that was fantastic, but the speeds have gone steadily upward since then. That was 7 years ago now, Art.
Pepsi Taco Bell, just like Sudden Impact, going for a kilo record in Sarasota. We'll be back with more in a moment.
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school with Dynamic Practice Organization, a revolutionary new instructional videotape. Dynamic Practice Organization features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky with his famous building block approach to athletic training. This exciting instructional videotape features the same drills, techniques, and methods that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Dynamic Practice Organization makes any coach look like a genius and organizes offensive and defensive practices that players of all ages and ability levels can't wait to attend. And immensely improves team communication skills and even conditioning. This is the instructional video that's a winner. To order your copy for only $29.95, have your credit card ready and call toll-free, 1-800-942-1400. The Dynamic Practice Organization teaching video makes a great gift, too. Call now, 1-800-942-1400.
You are looking at the shoreline of Galveston, Texas on a hot, steamy day. Art earlier had a chance to talk with two-boat owner Jack Carmody.
What's it like getting into an open class boat as adverse to the one in the past?
It's very exciting. I'm real comfortable in a boat. I've been very lucky in getting involved with the best of boat racing. When you got people like Kurt Harbert that started out as a throttle man and being involved with Art Lilly and Reggie Fountain, and then in this boat, Bobby Moore. He's here helping us out with our first race. I've been able to really feed a lot off the professionals. These guys are the best at what they do. They taught me a lot. I feel real comfortable with them, and I know that we're in a safe situation all the time with them.
Well, two of Jack's professionals in the Carlos and Charlie's are leading in the modified class. The Mercury Marine leaderboard shows us Carlos and Charlie's over Pasta Chips and Harry's Hofbrau.
A good battle, too, between teammates right here, Carlos and Charlie's, and Mixed Emotion, as you see on the upper part of your screen. Quite a battle with the catamaran.
Jack Carmody in the Mixed Emotion continues to learn the new hull, to learn the way to handle a cat in competition.
Anybody on the inside? No, sir. Get a little left, Rodney. It's rougher over by the deal. Left. Stay on the seaward side.
Rich, is that a pillow under Kurt's arm?
All right, with all the equipment in that boat, they've got a pillow, they've got extra hardware, they've got their gloves on. As much equipment as they can get for these racing conditions, anything to soften the blows they're receiving out there.
Boy, you can see Kurt really bringing that throttle back and forth, adjusting to each wave.
And the wheelman, Rodney Rudell, is working the steering wheel. He's moving that back and forth to keep the boat winding out there, trying to beat the boss in the catamaran. The problem there is they've got to use a lot more throttle to gain the same speed as the cat design, and they're pushing those engines to the max right now.
Boy, a little bit of chiming going on, too.
Yeah, that boat is a handful at the moment.
Taking a look at inside the cockpit. Rod and Kurt looking at each other. Kurt really chomping on that gum.
They're coming down to the finish right now. These two have the race well in hand. They're going to get themselves a victory in the modified class. Carlos and Charlie's first with an 80.87 mile-per-hour speed. Over the second-place boat, Pasta Chips, third Harry's Hofbrau, and fourth Endangered Species. The last two boats didn't complete the course. Higher average speed than Pasta Chips, but no victory.
Rod Riddell and Kurt Harbor high-fiving it, winning the season's opener.
In the Pro Stock class, coming down to the finish, Patriot has a commanding lead now over both Harmsco Hurricane and Restore. It's Patriot's race today.
The Pro Outboards headed for the checkers, Rich, in such a competitive division, these outboards.
Yeah, they're all running basically the same hull, either a 35-foot motion or a 32-foot skater. They're also using the same engines, 2.5 Mercury offshore race engines. And in the background, you see the speed differential between the Pro Outboard leader and Zero Defect, which is another dimension right now.
I was going to say Patriots in the wake of Pepsi Taco Bell right there in another division.
But that open boat in the background was really flying.
Here's Restore. They had the early lead, the 35-foot motion, but they couldn't hold on to it.
They've had some problems in there. They were certainly very competitive and near and at the lead for the first couple of laps. The Harmsco Hurricane, the reigning national champion, sitting in second place right now, an unfamiliar place for the P1, the national champ from last year.
Steve Page behind the wheel of Harmsco Hurricane.
And Steve Page, one of the forces behind the scenes in the upcoming race in Fort Myers, Florida.
His throttleman, Steve Skorupski, also from Fort Myers. And, of course, the sponsor of this boat, Harmsco, right out of Palm Beach, Florida. We'll be there pretty soon, Rich.
Yes, Hank Harms will be putting a race on August 11th on the national circuit of the APBA.
Well, let's take a look at the outboard class results. It's Patriot with the 71.95 mile-per-hour speed.
Over the Harmsco Hurricane and Restore in a very, very tight race.
Venus Swimwear along with Kamikaze. Now here's how the modified class points list looks with Carlos and Charlie's winning today's race.
And Patriot leads the national standings with 104 points over the Harmsco Hurricanes, 93, and Restore's 83.
We'll be back with the open class finish and the offshore race from Galveston, Texas after this.
Bring the world's most demanding motorsport right into your home. Offshore racing is the most spectacular powerboating event in the world. Offshore race boats exhibit state-of-the-art marine design and offer the raw power and split-second finesse unparalleled by any other motorsport. Bring these extraordinary thrills right into your home to be enjoyed over and over again by the entire family. Call 1-800-890-0096 to order the home video version of this American Powerboat Association offshore race for only $19.95 plus shipping and handling, or buy the entire 1996 APBA Offshore Racing Series, a collection of 7 videos, and get the final tape absolutely free. That's right, absolutely free. Every tape will be shipped following each race and billed separately, and remember, the 7th tape is absolutely free. All you pay is shipping and handling. Act immediately. Mail your check or money order to the address on your screen, or call 1-800-890-0096 right now and have your credit card ready. Operators are standing by.
We are back off Galveston Island for the final moments of the open boat race to the checkers right now. Most all the other divisions have wrapped things up, and the open boats are really moving.
And after learning to handle the boat for the first few laps, Mixed Emotions has entered the fray big time. They've picked up the pace considerably. These guys are getting very, very comfortable in that catamaran.
These guys, driver-owner Jack Carmody and throttleman Art Lilly from Kent Narrows, Maryland.
I'm starting to kind of like this boat. Give me this race to get used to it, and then we'll kick everybody. How about that?
Yeah. And no matter what you do, you ain't gonna make it ride much smoother than this, Jack.
You can't read the water. It's just full of holes. There's no pattern to it. There's no trough. Go easy. Go easy.
And they are getting very, very comfortable in that boat, Art.
No doubt a contender in the future is there behind Zero Defect right now. Zero Defect coming down the stretch.
It's coming down in first place, wire to wire. John Tomlinson, Leith Perrone have done a fabulous job. They've led from the get-go.
And Leith puts the fist in the air as they cross the finish line. A great win. First race of the season. It must feel good to have everything so in tune together.
All that work, all that preparation, all comes down to their first checkered flag. Everything went right today.
Well, you can tell with their inboard cameras that this crew really meshed together, too, not just the machinery. As we take a look now at the average speed of 89.54 miles per hour for the victory. Mixed emotions, a good speed.
Yeah, they picked it up quite a bit. They wound up 3 miles an hour faster than their V-bottom brother.
As is tradition, the big reach checkers.
And that check